Hello everyone, Michael the Mechanical here. Well, this is awkward. So, the Triton MJ is now off the road. It's not a write-off, it's just been unregistered. Oh, I almost got yours, didn't I? It's been written off. No, Goose. No. Make a bad joke. The Triton has been unregistered. It is not written off. It is just in a position where I don't want to do any further damage to the driveline. I don't want to take any more chances. It is literally in the position where it does need a new head gasket again. I am getting so sick of replacing that thing's head gasket that I'm literally not even going to worry about that until I can afford to fix it, which is like probably never going to happen. It needs the suspension rebuilt. It needs the steering rebuilt. It needs the tray rebuilt. It needs the engine rebuilt. It's got all these things that I can't afford to do. So, if anyone was watching the earlier live stream today, I kind of got a bit excited about something. I'm actually a little bit less excited now because of an issue that's come up, which is just making things harder about it. But if anyone was watching the live stream earlier, just to, what's it called? Okay, essentially, previously on the Michael Mechanical streams, we were looking at the Triton, we were looking at another car called a Mitsubishi Pajero ND 1987. And the reason we were looking at it is actually because that's the closest vehicle we have. Well, it's the cheapest to get on the road at this point in time. The engine's still in bits and pieces. The gearbox still needs oil. The brakes at the rear are really badly needing servicing. It needs new shockers at the front. And pretty much there. So to affirm what is going on, essentially, here is the Pajero that we're talking about. And this was ages ago. This was in its driving state. This was drivable right here. But as you can see underneath, there is a shit ton of oil on the ground. And that's the reason why we've gone to the lengths we have. Because this thing was driving really, really well. However, it did have an underlying problem for blowing head gaskets. It had a perished balance shaft belt. And it had really bad wear in the cylinders. So we got oversized pistons, oversized rings, oversized everything, including the bores, but the liners in the bores, and we're rebuilding the engine sort of slowly. So I have to order in the parts that the engine needs to be fully finished, but we still have some little things left to do with it. Now, with this car, when I drove it, whenever you were driving forwards, not like I'm holding my hands to match what the car looks like, but whenever you're driving forwards, the car would literally ride like this on the road. It would literally ride on a really weird angle, so it'd be like this. And that's because this shocker here on the passenger side is kaput. And I thought that the brakes were bad here too, because whenever you were braking, the car would go fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. It wouldn't consistently slow down. It'd be inconsistently slowing down. So, from inspecting the brakes at the front, they are perfect. It looks even like the rotors at the very front are in perfect condition, like they haven't even been worn out. They're brand new rotors, brand new brake pads. Now, if we take a step to the back, the tires on the front are good too. If we take a step to the back, the tires at the back are crap. The spare is worn completely out. And the rear brakes, the pads, you couldn't tell what was wrong. But when I was looking on which side was it? It's the other way around. The front's facing that way. When I was on this side, which is that corner there, I was looking at the brakes. It's a tiny little hole about this big, maybe even smaller. I have no idea. And I was looking through it. Oh yeah, I can see a little groove in the brake pad, which says that this brake still has some material on it for braking. But I couldn't tell with the other one because the caliper was that far forward that the other one was pretty much not visible. So what I did, I took the caliper off and inspected the brakes, and literally there was less than a millimeter of material left on the other half of the brake. Much like the Triton's front brakes, the reason I rebuilt them is because they were wearing on angles. It was always, tight when driving forward. It was always really like the front was always felt like it was braking because the brakes were always engaged at the front. And once I rebuilt them, the wheels spun freely, released freely, etc. This has calipers at the back. It does not have drums. And when I took this one's off, because it was literally on this side of the car, this one's literally metal to metal contact with the rotor itself. The rotors, since I've been doing all this homework and research and stuff, the information is here. This is what our rotor's thickness is. The rotor's thickness should be this. The minimum is 8mm. As we can see, we're pretty close to 8mm. It's almost completely out of material. And then here, it says it's meant to be 10 brand new. As you can see, we've got part numbers here. So a super cheap auto, it's part number. And we have a DBA 238. They're the only two numbers I can source for these parts. Now, that's the rotor. Those are numbers for it. Those are measurements that I got off of it that are not quite perfect. But if we look at it here, the numbers are so close, it's pretty much a match. It's identical. Then, if we look up here, it says rear 18 to 16.4mm with a 315 OD. Now, if we look at that number and look at this OD, 322.5, which is actually 323, it's completely different to that number. And if we look at the thickness of the material here, that is way off from these two numbers here. It's way, way different. So I wasn't sure if it's a brand new rotor or what. I was getting really confused. This here is the wrong rotor for the car. And that's the problem with the measurement. The measurement is actually these ones here. That's the limits. On this one's rear brakes. They didn't replace the pads because they couldn't find the pads. They didn't replace the drums because the drums have stopped being manufactured for this vehicle. It looks nice. You can't get drums for it. As in, stop calling them drums, they're rotors. You can't get rotors for this anymore. So, the plan is, stop looking at that page. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. The plan is to super cheap auto DBA 238 and look it up. And if we look up DBA 238, this is the number we get up. This is the price. This is the parts. So that's the good news and the bad news all in one. We can sort of get the parts. Whether they make them or not is a completely different story. I have no idea. Anyway, guys. So I'm sort of reminiscing a little bit about the Triton, the Pajero, how things were, how things are. And I found a video that's essentially was can't change up or down in gears. This was in the earliest possible conceivable days that actually happened. And why it was really good to find that is control click. Okay, control click. Okay, just go to it. I want to open up this video. This is really reminiscent of the problems I had in the early days when I was learning manual. It was early days when I didn't know there was something wrong. Oh my god. That should have played. Open with VLC. It shouldn't break. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Look how neat the car is. Literally, the gauge is on the ground there. There is this panel here. I still got that hiding somewhere, and it's carbon fiber wrap. I'm putting on the seat belt. I got the seats in the car. I'm literally trying to shift in the second, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm trying to downshift. I'm literally learning all this stuff, not realizing there's a problem with it. And I'm testing the gears to show, hey, this is all working as it is intended to. I'm trying to put on the headset. Because what I want to do is I want to try and affirm what am I saying? Like this. Oh, I'm playing music. So, I need to go and pause that music. I need to turn up this volume. Now, I've tried to do one test in the driveway, and that's go like this, put in the first. I don't know if you can hear it. Put my foot on the clutch, put in neutral, put it back in the first. Now, it wouldn't let me do that for some weird reason, so I can't exactly make it work. So I reckon we'll check that's all good, handbrake's on, and I'll push this all the way in, maybe. You'll notice when she starts up, she shakes like crazy. This is the funny key. I'll turn off this radio. There's no volume. Yeah, did you see that shake? 900 RPM. I have no idea if you guys can see this. I'm releasing the clutch. Neutral. She won't go in the first. Now she goes in the first. Now that she's stopped. And while it looked like I was actually forcing it in, I was literally holding it forward with already force until I stopped completely and it just dropped into gear. Kind of been a pain in the ass, really. A pain in the ass. I remember what was happening. I've got to see how this fares up. I'll show you what I mean down this road here. Yeah, I might actually include this in a reminiscence video or something if I can make one, which I can't. And if you heard it, it was really hard to put it in the gear. It went clunk when it went into gear. I was trying to work out, why is it so hard to change gears? One of the reasons is the clutch could be the reason. It's a brand new clutch, hasn't been worn in. It's probably within the first 3,000 kilometers of driving the car. Maybe even the first 1,000. I didn't know what was going on, why it was so hard to change gears. That could have been the clutch master cylinder leaking and having that problem. You never know. There's multiple reasons why that could have been happening. But it was easy to get it into third than first and second. And I already had problems. Mate, that sounds like a really cool truck in that. Car sounds nothing like that anymore. And it doesn't seem like that either. It doesn't seem that gutsy. Heaters on. That's funny. What's going on, but this is now in neutral. Our speed gauge thing is going. Oh my god! Well, at least we can see there's the mileage on the machine at that point in time when it didn't have the disgusting two corners of the gauge cluster. I was planning on remaking that sheet to suit the gauges and then set the gauges up because this is the original diesel one. Before I cut the hole in here and made it look ugly. And yeah, we can see there's a bit of a freaking weird thing going on with the tacho here. Look at that. That is so spastic. What's going on? Yeah. This gauge works. This gauge has been funny. Yeah. As you can see, 000, I had problems with this that was giving me headaches.
I mean, it's been funny, and I don't know what's going on. Any assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
I can just turn the key off. Bang. Timer, I don't want to really touch that. I don't want to let the car run.
Because I had a turbo timer on it. Ugly, no door covers. Had my camera. Oh my god. This car's had so much done to it over its lifetime. And its noisy as anything. I think that's because of the engine, the transmission mount was buggered. But yeah, there's the original tyres. They're gone, long gone. They're gone with the other Triton. Look how nice that paintwork is though. Except for the bull bar. Oh my god. Look at how long my hair was. Look at my bandana. Mate, that was a long time ago. But not much has changed. I mean, the white one's no longer here. The Pajero still is. And it's in the same spot. Oh my god. It's been in that spot for like 5 years. 5 years that car's been waiting to get back on the road. And yeah, I was thinking it was the gearbox oil that was causing all those issues. Oh my god. That is crazy looking. And then the mess, and then the environment is like tight and squishy. Workshop. Yeah. Yep, that was my oil. Gearbox and differential oil. Extreme high pressure oil. I was thinking maybe that's why. Yeah. But look at the body. It looks all really good. The vinyl wrap and everything looks nice and shiny and decent. And yeah, you could tell I was on my P's. I'm thinking that's it. We're not gonna look at that video anymore. I literally, if I was to make a video reminiscing about any of the old stuff, that was ages ago. That was in 2015. That was 4 years ago. Back when I first got the vehicle. So I've had the vehicle for 5 years. And it's been going and going and going. And I've had problems. I didn't know what they were at the time. But I've learnt so much since I've owned that vehicle. It's really crazy. So I got to look for a solution to get my car. I need to get the Pajero on the road. But the good news is the shopping cart essentially says, shopping cart's not paid for, but we're at about $700 in the shopping cart. I don't know if I put in the rotors, because the rotors, what was in here? Is there anything in here that shouldn't be in here? There's 2 sets of disc brakes that shouldn't be in there. I think there's only meant to be 1 disc brake. Oh my god, there's 4 sets of disc brakes in here. What? That's 1, 2, 3, $400 that shouldn't be on this bill. Huh. Oh my god. Maybe this one's slightly incorrect, but you know, it gives you an idea. We're around the $700 mark or less, and that gives us a little bit of leniency. My last paycheck that I'm gonna get is about $1,400, but it's one of those things where I don't want to spend it because I need to have about $1,000 just for my taxes that I have to pay, because I owe $1,000 in tax. We're gonna see what happens though, guys. There's no guarantees on anything. I'm just gonna see how things go and see you later. But yeah, all the homework that's been done just today for Dad, for me, for another car to be completed. so we have more time available to spend on other things that need to be done. I think it's time to hang up the phone though, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching.